Hello and welcome to Straight Talk. With the British Council celebrating its 75 years of existence in over 100 countries, let's welcome on our show today Ms. Ruth G. Ms. Ruth G is the head of India and Sri Lanka for the British Council, the director for British Council. Thank you very much for coming to the show. Thank you very much. It's pleased to have you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks very much. At the outset, let's talk about the 75th anniversary, which is very much being celebrated all around, in fact. What's being lined up as part of it?
Well, there are a whole host of celebrations, from musical events in the UK to different kind of celebrations throughout the world. Here in India, we're celebrating it through launching 75 books. We're calling it Books Gone Wild. And in each of our 9 locations, we've a list of 75 books that we've given out, and we're going to track these books and see what happens to them. So as you read a book, you then write a review online and you say who you've given it to, and we're confident that these books will probably not stay in India. This seems to us to be a very fitting thing to do in India, where books are such an important part of our presence, an important part of our footprint here.
Now, talking about the very purpose, the objectivity of the British Council, obviously bringing cultures and countries together. So, I mean, what's been the central theme of all your efforts has been the planet and the people. So, is that what drives the British Council?
Yeah, I think it's probably important to go back 75 years and to say, why were we set up? We were set up because Europe at that time, in 1934, was very fraught by extremes. On the one hand, fascism, on the other hand, communism. And it was felt that it was important for Britain to develop relationships that were longer term, that were non-political, and whereby we could play a role to bring people together who had very different views, but where we could value diversity and ensure that we respect different opinions. In the spectrum of friendship and war, cultural relations sits in the middle, and we think that's a very important place to sit, particularly in the modern world, so that purpose remains as vital as ever.
Now, when we talk of the expansion plans and also the diversification plans of the British Council, what is it that we're looking at in terms of, is it going to more countries and having a presence elsewhere as well? Is that what the Council is looking at?
No. We think that it's important to extend our reach, to reach more people using technology, but that doesn't necessarily mean having a physical presence. Here in India, for example, we had reasons some years ago to close our British Library in Kerala, but actually we do more work in Kerala now than we've ever done before. So what we say is our ambition is to double everything, to make sure that we reach more people, to make sure that we use technology so that we can engage with people through our education work, through our work in sports, that we link in with policymakers, we link in with teachers, we link in with students, we link in with citizens of a global world.
Now, when you talk of the technology, obviously it is coming to your aid as well, and it's helping you obviously to perform in a better manner. But in a sense, it also does hinder one's performance as well, because people usually prefer sitting home and browsing books, reading them online itself. So how big a challenge it is for the library to go out in the open, tell people that we are here, come and join the library?
I don't think any organisation, and certainly not the British Council, is complacent. We believe it's really important to get out and reach people. We don't expect them to come to us in the way that we traditionally did. We expect us to go to them, and that does mean making use of technology. We make no apology for that, because that seems the right thing to do in a modern world.
Right. I mean, for some people, the British Council has been just about British libraries and nothing beyond. So how is that changing now, with the British Library now aggressively promoting itself? Now, in the recent past, at least, it's been noted. So how's that changing now?
Well, I think it's important to state that we operate in 4 metros. So in Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai and Kolkata. And there we have our full British Council status as part of the division of the British High Commission, at the request, in fact, of the Indian government, that status. In the 4 British Library locations, in Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Chandigarh, Hyderabad and Pune, we work with the Indian Council of Cultural Relations. And maybe those 5 places are the places that have historically been only about books. Our 4 metro operations have always been very broadly based. And what we're doing now in partnership with ICCR is to make sure that we can invite exhibitions like Darwin now to celebrate the birth of Darwin and the publication of The Origin of the Species. Invite writers like Jeff Dyer, who will be here in February. And ICCR give us the approval to do that because they recognise that that's part of cultural activities building on our British libraries.
Now, when you talk of the composition and the constituents of the British Library, the Council as a whole, the scope of work is quite diverse and quite expansive in its nature. So you touch upon just about every aspect, from climate to sports to arts to just about everything. So I mean, this makes it quite interesting work, isn't it? I mean, in terms of the nature of the work.
It's a fascinating organisation. I had the privilege to join the British Council only in the year 2000, after I'd had quite a long career in education and training in the UK, and I was immediately struck by the value and the relevance of what we stand for, and actually the way that we can do things because we're not government, because we are impartial. Technically speaking, we're a company limited by guarantee, a not-for-profit, a registered charity. And that means that we don't go to the places where governments go. We're not interested in, if you like, the ups and downs of political process. Our job is to make sure that India and the UK have these broadly based cultural links. Essentially, they're all around people. They're all around valuing the Indian-UK partnership. They're all about making sure that India benefits and the UK benefits. And we choose the base to include sport and climate because those are issues of relevance in a modern world.
Well, with that, we'll slip into a very short break at this point. We will come back and continue our discussion with Ms. Ruth in just a bit at the other side of the break. Welcome back. To promote the British Council, in fact, we normally get to see a lot of ambassadors being used, like the Amir Khan, one of the boxers in Britain. So you have the support of all the people out there in the UK and obviously in India as well to promote yourself out in the market.
Yeah, we can only operate with the support of government. We're here at the invitation of the Government of India. That invitation was extended to us in 1948 and we're very pleased about that, and we continue to celebrate and value that partnership. We do ensure that we have policy dialogues around issues, but we increasingly reach mass audiences, and I think that's the thing that's different, actually. We used to concentrate, if you like, on the people who already spoke English, who already knew about the world beyond India and beyond the UK, and now we reach to people who may not have had that opportunity. So we're really intrinsically interested in generating access to make sure that everyone can have a slice of the global economy.
As part of this very activity that you were talking about, you're also trying to connect millions of students from India to the UK classroom. So that's quite an idea in itself, isn't it? So
we have an activity called Connecting Classrooms, where young people in schools in India, government schools in India, government schools in the UK, can join up through using technology to have conversations where teachers can in fact meet together, where visits can be made to the UK, to India. And that's really important. But of course we have to recognise that the UK is tiny in comparison to India. In the UK there are just less than 30,000 schools. In India there are almost 1 million schools. So we can't hope to match India's ambition or India's capability in that sense.
Now, talking about a different thing altogether, your corporate social responsibility towards the society, and in those areas, a lot is being done to save the planet and also the people as well, in terms of empowering people with skills and entrepreneurism as well. So, I mean, what's being done on that front in terms of your climate ambassadors? Is that what you call it? Champions?
We call them our international climate champions. And we have 77 here in India. We have, in fact, 3 of the 77 come from Andhra Pradesh. And significantly more from South India as a whole. And they are young people between the age of 18 and 21 who had to apply to us and tell us what they would do if they were made a champion. So they had to have a good idea for an environmental project. What we've done is we've selected 77, we've given them a platform on which to do their project. We've provided training for them, so everybody has had a really professional training course that has introduced them to project management skills. And they have told me during this visit to Hyderabad how much they valued that, because whatever they do next, they're always going to have the project management skills. So in a way, that's about building leadership, building capacity in a community through the medium of climate change. And we do a similar thing through sport. Because climate and sport are issues of modern youth, and we want to use their interest points.
Certainly. And we also just learned that they are at the COP15 as well, at the Copenhagen, so you're climate ambassadors.
Well, at least one of them from India is there, and she's using theatre. We are not interested in the political discussions that are taking place at Copenhagen. What we're interested in is we're interested in actually raising public awareness, but enabling them to increase public awareness. So we're delighted that using theatre, using campaigning around solar energy, they're drawing attention to their case. And that kind of youth summit is something that we've done at Kyoto, we've done it in Stuttgart, we've had meetings in the UK and elsewhere. So the Indian champions have also had an opportunity to meet young people from all over the world.
So that's again another noble thing being done by the British Council over there. Talking about what's happening on the education front, Britain for most of the Indians is the #1 sort of choice to study abroad. So in terms of that, I mean, what do you think is about Britain that attracts so many students in such large numbers, in fact, not just from India but from throughout the world? So what's it about Britain actually that attracts?
Well, it's not just my opinion, it's the research that's been done that tells us that the reason that people choose the UK as their destination for study, particularly undergraduate study, is that it's a quality education experience. We have very transparent measures to assess the quality of education, but also we have international campuses. So the fact that you can come to the UK and you can meet not only students from the UK, but you can meet students from Africa, from Asia, you can meet students literally from all over the world, is part of the attraction. So a long-standing reputation, high quality educational experience, and the opportunity to be part of a global network.
Right, when we talk of the cultural relations worldwide, bringing people on together, in fact, through cultural relations, that's quite a novel idea in itself, in terms of getting to people, bringing them together through cultural relations, and that's what the British Council has been doing over the last many years. So, I mean, that does sort of pay dividends at the end, isn't it? I mean, by sort of in terms of the objectivity being achieved.
Well, we hope so. We test that. Every year we do research. We ask people what it is that's improved as a result of their engagement with the British Council. We take that research seriously, and we're really quite an open organisation in terms of accepting feedback. We know we don't do everything perfectly. Nobody does, in my view, but we do know that we're good facilitators and that we've been very good brokers of bringing different people together. That's our role.
Well, with that, we'll slip into a very short break at this point. We will come back and continue our discussion with Ms. Ruth in just a bit at the other side of the break. welcome back. We just need an answer for some of your critics who often see you as typically stereotyped as a publicist for the UK and its culture and people. So you have an answer for them?
Well, we're impartial, so it doesn't matter to us whether it's a Labour government today and a government of a different party in 2010. Our work remains the same. I think every organisation tries its best to sell its story. We do that. I think that's very important to do that. It's not an empty story. We have lots of content. So I think that what we do in terms of trying to promote the work of the British Council, and through that the work then of the UK, the creativity of the UK, the innovation of the UK, the way that the UK wants to be a part of a multiracial, multicultural world and is a part of it. We make no apologies for that.
And coming back to the library, the functioning of the library itself, I mean, how does it facilitate learning and stuff to have more and more state-of-the-art libraries, to be very precise? So in terms of the promotion of the culture of learning, so I mean, it does help, doesn't it?
I think British libraries play a role because the 5 locations where we are here in India are meeting points for a sizable group of people, and books are an essential part of learning, as we've said before. So they act as a focus for the community, and that's really very, very important indeed.
Coming back to the English language, the promotion of that, and obviously the more and more people learn English, it's easy for them to actualize their fullest potential. So that's always is an area also that you work on.
Yes, we actually put quite a lot of our money into activity around English. We put a lot of money into our British libraries. We work increasingly with the state governments in India, and we've been invited to work to train master trainers in English. We work as well with corporates. We only have 2 small teaching centres in India, one in Delhi with only 4 classrooms, but we intend to increase that, and a new one in Chennai, where in fact we're using Indian teachers in order that we can have a model that's more accessible. We've trained Indian teachers around the learning techniques of the British Council, and that's proving very attractive in Chennai.
When we go back obviously to the promotion of arts and obviously science, I mean a lot is being done on that front as well, isn't it, in terms of arts?
Yes, and we're just preparing for a new programme around creative entrepreneurship, and something that we formally called Connections Through Culture. So this is a new website that will be launched in the spring actually, but where we're piloting and doing a lot of the preparatory work for it, whereby artists can have travel grants or development grants to come and UK artists, Indian artists, to get together in workshops that will be about developing audiences or museums or staging, curation of visual art shows, and all these things which we think is very important for the future.
Giving a message to our viewers, people who would definitely want to work for the British Council, and in an attempt to in fact invite more and more people to join this very cause of serving people. What set of people would you like to work with the British Council?
We employ 400 staff actually in India. In my experience in September, those are high quality staff, and I put on record my appreciation to them. We believe that what we do is of benefit to the UK and of benefit to India. We do nothing that, unless it's about engaging and resulting in mutual benefit. That's really important to us. So that would be the message. I was asked if I was to give a soundbite, I'd say we bring an open mind and we encourage full participation. And that's our culture. It's around professionalism, it's about integrity, it's about mutuality, and it's about making sure that the long-standing India and UK relationship goes ever stronger into the future.
When you talk of obviously all that's being done, promoting engagement and dialogue on all the issues that concern the human beings and the planet as well, is what's the center of all your efforts. So how gratifying it is at the end of the day to have obviously at least done your bit, the Council as a whole, towards the humanities. So.
Well, I learned a long time ago that individuals can make a difference, but an individual tree does not make a wood. And that it's only by joining all together and by ensuring that we're all clear about what we're trying to do and how we're trying to do it that we really make an impact. And therefore, you know, I'm delighted to be in this position. I'm delighted to be in India at the moment. I'm based in Delhi, and although I also have responsibility for Sri Lanka, the fact that India is 90% of my work, as it were, makes its own statement.
And something about the differences you found between Hong Kong, your previous workplace, and India? I mean, some stark differences.
Hong Kong is tiny, so let's just start with the fact that Hong Kong has 7 million people, India has 1.3 billion. So, I mean, I'm enjoying the whole scale and variety that comes through the many Indias. You know, the advertisements say incredible India. I would say incredible Indias.
That pretty much says it all, it does. Right, at the end, just a message to our viewers about the British Council. What is the message that's, as of now, going out of the British Council to the viewers?
We want to know what you would like us to do in the sense of within our remit as a cultural relations organisation. Visit our website, have a look at what's on offer, try to engage with us and give us plenty of feedback using technology as your medium. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we look forward to an even stronger 2010, and good luck to Delhi hosting the Commonwealth Games, around which we also hope that we'll be able, because Glasgow is going to host the Games subsequently, that we'll be able to arrange some kind of cultural programme.
Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Talk. We do appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Well, that's all we have time for on this show. See you again in the next episode. Bye for now.